Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Monday Night Must See TV with the Hudson Valley Squares. I do want to announce we now have a new full-time honorary member of the Hudson Valley Squares, even though he's from New Jersey, Rich Catino.
Woo!
Welcome,
What's
Rich.
up, dude? And dudettes and everyone else, what's up?
So this is like when She-Hulk joined the Fantastic Four.
It's kind of like that, yeah.
Just, similar.
Absolutely. We're missing a couple members tonight. So we got missing in action is Nick Franco, our Nick Franco, Lynn Versace, and Steve Keeler, but we'll be seeing all three of them next week. So we may get Mr. Keeler jumping in late, but we'll see. So we've got a fun little show for you today. Shouldn't be a long one. So this is actually an idea of Ryan's from a few weeks ago. And we've actually talked about this like on Facebook and many times in the past, those songs that for whatever reason you just can't get out of your head. So it could be a song that has been stuck, or songs that have been stuck in your head this week, or maybe for weeks on end, or maybe even longer. Maybe it's some song that keeps recurring. It's always there. So I've asked everybody to kind of think of like maybe 3 songs that are constantly swirling in their heads these days. And then we'll go back around a second time and any albums that we've been listening to quite a bit of late. So we're going to start with Evil Knievel down at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to go
the
Butch
real
Knievel or Evil.
Oh, that's
Butch,
fucking
whatever you want to
awesome.
call it.
That is cool as fuck.
I still got Butch, did you get that new action figure? I know we talked about it. You have it there?
Of Evil?
Yeah, the reissue.
I haven't gotten that one yet. I do have one, but I don't have that one.
Oh, okay.
And I saw
I got the old one, but man,
Yeah.
for like weeks they were pestering me with those Facebook ad, and then I kept clicking off, and now I'm like, oh man, I should have bought one of those.
Yep. And then now they got a black one.
Oh, nice.
That looks
For
really
when
cool.
Evil's on a midnight mission.
Exactly. Black. It's got a black suit with yellow on. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Knight Rider.
Which one we doing first? We doing the songs first, or we doing
Yeah,
the
do the
albums
songs
first?
first. So we'll go
Okay.
Butch, Ryan, Sydney, Rich, Chris, and myself, and then we'll go back around for everybody's albums.
Okay. So 3 songs that have been stuck in my head. This is a band that I discovered. Well, I didn't discover. I gave them a chance 2 or 3 years ago, and they've been a band that I love to death, and I will defend to anybody at this point, or defend if anyone's picking on them, I should say. The band Survivor. They have a song called "Children of the Night," which is heavy as shit. And if you've never heard it and you're thinking, yeah, Survivor, heavy, check out this song. It's on Eye of the Tiger, the album that everyone owns. And actually did a video. I just found the video, I think at the end of last year, scrolling. I'm like, they made a video for this song?
I didn't know that either.
I love that. It really is. It's a very heavy song. It really is. And they actually even have an Iron Maiden gallop in it. And a section of it, like right before the solo comes, there is a complete breakdown, and there's an Iron Maiden gallop. You're like, holy shit, really?
I gotta hear this. I'm writing it down.
I swear on my mom. Survivor, Children of the Night.
So
I
on the Eye of
believe
the
you. I
Tiger
just
album?
want to hear it.
Huh?
That's on the Eye of the Tiger album?
It's on the Eye of the Tiger album. Yep.
I've only ever had just like a greatest hits of Survivor, and I haven't listened to it in a million years. But I wonder if that album itself, because that album sold a shitload of copies. I wonder if that's just worth buying that.
It is. It really is. And like I said, it's one of those bands that I'm like, and I always liked the guitar player, Frankie Sullivan. I always liked him back in the 80s when that stuff was hitting and it was happening and all that kind of stuff. I always thought he was a cool guitar player, but it's like, okay, Eye of the Tiger. Listen, Eye of the Tiger is a great song. No one needs to hear it ever again, but It's a great song. But then when you dive in, those first 3 Survivor records, holy shit. They were a hard rock band that got famous for writing a ballads and Eye of the Tiger. But if you
Burning
listen,
Heart. Rocky 4. Burning Heart. Rocky 4.
Exactly. Yep.
Vital Signs is a great Survivor record too.
It's a great album with Jimmy
Great
James.
record.
No, yeah, Jimmy Jameson's on that, right?
Yeah,
That guy's a singer.
He
Woo.
was a great voice, great singer.
so good.
I'm on YouTube and there it is, but I don't remember seeing this on like MTV.
I definitely never saw it. And it's and when you so I'll tell you, if any of you guys go out and watch this video, the keyboard player who is Jim, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, who has written songs for everybody. The guy is a phenomenal songwriter. He looks, and this is probably the reason it wasn't on MTV. watch the keyboard player who's playing rhythm guitar in the video. He looks like such a geek that he looks so awkward and tries to be cool. And if you're geeky and you try to be cool, it's even worse. It's awful, but it's a great fucking song. Great song. So to move on, the song that's always kind of in my head, because I would say it's my favorite song of the entire 80s. I love this fucking song. John Waite's Change.
Oh, yeah.
I love that song. All I have to do is think about it or hear a little thing that reminds me of it, and it's in my head. I love that song. Great song. And my third song is a song that I have loved since I was, too bad Lynn's not here because Lynn would love this one. A song that I love since I was a kid, and anybody but Sydney could probably almost relate to some extent, because for me and Pete, for sure, growing up in the 70s and being in your parents' car with AM radio, and I don't even know why I'm laughing. Actually, I really do love this song, but it's really easy to get stuck in your head. England Dan and John Ford Coley had a song called "I'd Really Love to See You Tonight."
Great song.
Great song.
And
I'm a little younger, but that's a great song.
And now I just said it to you, and now it's in your head.
Yep.
Oh, it is.
You'll be humming it, and it's a great song. But it's one of those songs you hear, it's in your head, and you just.
I'm not talking about me.
I always thought that first line is, "I'm not talking about my linen."
That's okay. Oh my God. When Lynn sees this is going to be Lynn out of the blue, like 2 weeks ago, had texted me that she had heard that song, and that's what she thought he said. I'm not talking about the linen.
Yeah. Like, oh, he's like doing the sheets and the towels.
To this day, I'm not 100% sure what he says. I always
I have
thought
no
I'm not
idea.
talking about my lady,
Yeah,
but it
no
could be a
idea.
name. I don't
He
know.
said, I'm not talking about moving in.
Is that what he says?
That's what he
Yeah.
says.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life.
I've been saying my
Linen
lady
fits
for
so
like
much
50
better.
years.
That's a total. That's a bath. Like there's a bathroom on the right. One of those.
So Lynn thought it was just like you guys. I'm not talking about the linen, and I don't want to change your line. So linen and line. I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
oh my God,
That's
Just
cool.
learn something new every day, huh?
Yeah.
right? So those are my three. There's the three. I love all three of those songs, and they easily get stuck in your head for sure.
That's a good one. Wow. I'm going to have to relearn how to sing that now.
Right?
That's funny.
Not talking about moving in. That
Yep.
almost sounds awkward.
When you actually hear it now and listen.
Now I'll probably say, oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you can hear
Never
it.
mind my
everything
lady,
clear.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Very cool. All right. Ryan Scow, what do you got?
All right. So I don't know, when it comes to songs stuck in your head, I think everybody gets some shitty songs in there, but I don't want to talk about those. I had some dark years, very dark years, where I had "Toxic" by Britney Spears in my head all the
Oh, I love that
I don't want
song.
to talk about
Said you weren't going to mention that, Ryan.
God. And now that I said that just so everybody out there. Yeah. So, anyways, about 2 weeks ago, some friends of mine, I was invited to go see one of my favorite movies, a private screening in a small theater in Beacon. The movie is This Is Spinal Tap. Of course, you've seen it unless you're a poser. You've seen that movie, you love it. And as soon as they said that, I didn't get to go because I had to work. But as soon as they said that, from that point forward, the song Stonehenge in my head. Catchy as fuck. It's a great song. It's hilarious, but that's just been in my head. You know what? Most of the songs those guys wrote, joke band or not, movie or not, that is some really catchy shit. Very, very.
I thought you were going to say Big Bottom.
I was going to say.
Big Bottom, yeah.
That was great too.
Rock and Roll Creation. Yeah. Listen to the Flower People. All those great numbers. But Stonehenge is always like when I think of Spinal Tap, that song's ultimately the one that gets stuck in my head. So I was trying to think of some of my favorite metal songs that just constantly get stuck in my head, and I came up with 2 80s songs, and I think it comes down to these songs have really good, memorable choruses. They're high energy. You can listen to them in the car. The first one by Saxon, "The Power and the Glory." I mean, that's just obvious. Once the chorus to that song hits, everyone in the world has a beer in their hand, surrounded by 80,000 drunk Germans, as kind of the ideal way to experience that. I've never seen him in Wacken, but I have seen him on smaller venues, but that's a great song. And the last one's from a smaller band from Sweden The band is called Oz, O-Z.
Oh,
And they had an album in '83 called Fire in the Brain.
Yeah.
But then they had a
Yeah.
single after that called Turn the Cross Upside Down. If you've never heard this song, write it down after the show's over. YouTube this song, Turn the Cross Upside Down. It is just one of the best, pure, awesome 80s metal songs ever. The chorus is great. They have a part at the end where the music cuts away except for the drums and everybody's chanting the title. Ah, it's fucking great. That song's been like in rotation in my head for like, I don't know, 15 years now, ever since I first heard the band. So yeah, those two. And my third song, if it wasn't for Stonehenge, the third classic great metal song that always gets stuck in my head is Riot, Swords of Tequila. That song is just on a constant loop in my
Classic,
brain.
yeah.
Oh, and again,
You
amazing
picture the
chorus.
album
As soon as you hear it
cover?
one,
You have to, right? You got to picture that.
Yeah, you have to picture the
weird-looking-
seal every time it
Yeah.
gets stuck in your
And you know that seal has an
muffly ass seal.
Yeah, there's a name for that thing.
there's a name. I forgot it. Oh no, I do remember.
I'm
It's Johnny.
online. I'll look it up.
It's Johnny. It's Johnny the Seal. I just
Johnny.
remembered it.
Johnny Seal.
body, the seal.
Johnny the Seal. The worst
Why not?
logo in metal history. They gave it a name.
Yep.
Seal head and like muscly pink sunburned body. I don't know what. You know
Oh,
what though? The music kicks ass, so they can do whatever the fuck they want. But
and you know what? I gotta say something. Here's a little tidbit that I just found out like 2 weeks ago as well. You're talking about Spinal Tap. I found this amazing. So Christopher Guest, who obviously is Nigel Tufnell, I just found out like 2 or 3 weeks ago that there was, so remember Laverne and Shirley?
Yeah.
So Lenny and Squiggy, there's an album called Lenny and the Squig Tones. Christopher Guest is in that band, and there's a picture on the back of the album because I saw it. He's in the back cover with a guitar. This is like 1977, and it's Nigel Tufnell. So he had that character back then in the 70s. I saw that. I'm like, holy shit, that's something.
And what's weird because Lenny was played by the same guy, right? Wow,
Yeah.
that's
So there was the genesis of this whole thing, probably
Huh.
with them joking
back
about
when.
it.
years before the movie, yeah.
Yeah. Yep, I thought that was really fascinating. Like,
that
holy
is pretty
shit!
cool.
So I
Wow.
know Christopher Guest really is a guitar player and actually can play.
Oh yeah.
Because they said they had to kind of like make him like not play so well on the records, trying to play up the Nigel thing. So I just thought that was interesting.
I saw him something on recently. I almost didn't recognize him. He looking so old. I was like, holy cow.
Oh, really?
Well, I was gonna say that was one of my biggest concert regrets that I should have used for one of your videos way back when, Pete, whenever he did it. I had tickets for the Spinal Tap tour in '92.
The Beacon
But,
Theater.
Yeah, at the
I was
Beacon,
like-
and
I went. I was
I
there.
had tickets, and I had to sell my tickets because I had something with college. I couldn't get out of it. So
Mm.
my buddy went, and he was like, "Dude, it was like the fucking greatest show ever."
I had a shirt. I had a Spinal Tap shirt.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun. That show was fun.
That's awesome.
All right, Sydney, what do you got for us?
All right. Before I start, by the way, there was a comment on last week's video saying that people were wanting me to get healthy. I am fine. A lot of people tend to think that I'm pale for my image. I am just pale. So I wanted to clear that up really quick. I am fine. I am healthy. I am not sick. I appreciate your concern, but I am doing fine. Anyways,
Sydney doesn't need to eat a cheesesteak. She's very
I know.
okay.
I'm fine. I'm just pale, and I have studio lights too, so it washes me out a little bit. But anyways, we're gonna get into the top songs. So these are again kind of just songs that at one point or another, like if I'm doing something, even if I haven't heard them in a while, the lyrics just pop into my head out of literally nowhere. The first one is "Burnin' for You" by Blue Oyster Cult. That one, man, I will just be washing the dishes and I'll be like, time is the essence. It just pops into my head. And to be honest, it's one of those songs that I think that song deserved to have been bigger than like Don't Fear the Reaper and all those,
Yeah.
it's just catchy beyond belief. And it's one of the songs where I just always go back to it. I'm a big person that I listen to a lot of songs when I really, really love them. I listen to them like over and over again. It's just who I am. It's just what I do when I really love a song. And that's one that I always go back to. So especially it kind of happens in phases. Like I won't listen to it for months and months and months. Then I'll listen to it and I'll be like, man, this is just so good. So the past couple weeks, that's been one that's just been stuck in my head. Another one of those songs that just always does that to me is, this is kind of one that people probably wouldn't expect, is "Take Me Home Tonight" by Eddie Money. I love Eddie Money, man. I really do. I know it's kind of more on the pop side than rock.
It was great.
But I mean, that song, and I mean, I love the original song that Ronnie Spector, obviously did back, in like the 60s and everything. But I just love that song. It's like one of those songs again that I just think of. I go through phases, and to me, it's kind of like more of a summer song. So like now, as we're transitioning into like a new season, I kind of go back to songs that I associate with different times and everything. So that's been one that I just have been playing constantly lately, because just always in rotation. And the last song I have is a song that is always and forever stuck in my head, and is a song that people associate me with, which is really funny because I constantly talk about it. And that's Dawkins the Hunter, forever and eternally in my head. It's so funny. People like tag me, like it's kind of like Lynn with Jet City Woman. People tag me and like text me and all this stuff whenever it pops up. I get people who like follow me on Twitter who like tag me in like different versions of the song. It's like one of my favorite songs of all time. So that one is just eternally in my brain. I just find myself singing it constantly. So there's a lot more than that, but those are the three that I chose this evening.
I think, Sydney, that Lynch solo in that is possibly my favorite from him of all time.
Yeah, it's mine too. And it's funny because I told Jeff Pilson that was my favorite Dawkins song. And I'll never forget this. He literally looked at me and he was like, "That's bizarre." And I was like, "Yeah, dude." I don't know, man. I was like, it's just something about it. Like, I don't know.
It's a great song and it's a great solo. I remember in '86 in Guitar for the Practicing Musician, George Lynch won the guitar solo of the year for that song.
Yeah, that's
So,
one.
it's a brilliant solo. You can hum it in your head. You said it. I can hear it rolling in my head right now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's insane. And I mean, I bothered my college roommates with that song many times. They're like, "All right, I don't even know who this band is, but turn them off. Like, I'm sick and tired of hearing this song." So yeah, my favorite.
Very cool. All right, Mr. Catino.
All right, so we just did an album ranking at Sea of Tranquility. So I can't get the band out of my head because it's only 24 hours since then.
Yep.
So I still got Praying Mantis songs running through my head. So one that you can find on this compilation, it's called A Cry for the New World. Remember we talked about that when we were talking about the album. So catchy and hooky, the melody, right?
Yep.
The guitar, the vocals, the harmonies, the guitar leads that they have in it. So if you can find this compilation, because their albums are really hard to find in America, they're all overseas, they're imports, and they're pricey. But if you can get this best of that they have, the song is on this set. So if you like, really melodic rock, sometimes hard rock, they're part of the new wave of British heavy metal, but not really heavy metal, as we discussed, right? They're a little more, not even a little more, they're pretty melodic AOR rock.
Bad name. Bad name for an AOR band.
Yeah, right. I mean, the name fits perfectly with the way of British
Yeah,
heavy
their
metal.
name's heavy metal. Yeah, it's just a great band though, man.
Yeah.
It should have been massive out of that whole
Yeah,
of ones that never really got that big.
they're on that side of like
Rick,
Foreigner, Journey, Survivor, those kind of bands. But great band.
Rich, I almost picked the song "The One" from Legacy.
Oh, so
as one of my
good.
picks.
Rich
That
and I were
song
talking
is
about
like
that
one
one
of the best.
yesterday.
Yeah. That's
You
another hook I
introduced
can't
me,
get out of my
Ryan.
head.
When you talked about that song on this show, Ryan, I went and listened to it and I was like, "Damn, I should have never done that." Because the song is
The
eternally
whole
in.
album is like that. If you get that whole album, Legacy, it's just like that.
Yeah, every song.
It gets stuck in your head in the worst way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, get this compilation if you can. Good luck finding the album note at a decent price, the actual album. But it's on this with a bunch of other great songs. And then we're doing another album ranking coming up this week. So that band, I have two of the riffs and the songs in my head, and I can't get that out. And I just started listening to them. So the title track to Fear No Evil from Grim Reaper, that's just constantly been in my head the past 24 hours. I just started listening to the album too. And I can't remember much of the other ones because that riff just keeps going through my head. It's great. And then this one, Rock You
That's
to
the
Hell.
one.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
That riff and that scream when it kicks in, just totally kicks ass.
Max, you talk
Love it.
about album producers. Max Norman right there produced that one, and Nick Bocat
Yeah.
has a killer guitar tone on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's killer. The whole album's killer.
You listen to that, and then you listen to those first two albums. You're like, whoa, that's quite different.
Yeah,
It's a big
Yeah.
difference.
So,
Yeah, it's no-
yeah. That riff, "Rock You to Hell" and "Fear No Evil," I think I actually like it better than "See You in Hell." That's why it's more memorable, I think, for me right now. Those two songs and those two albums.
Mm.
So yeah, those are my three right now because of the album rankings. I just can't. Aside from City throwing me off now with the Hunter, but
Well, that song's
the
in
other
my head
three,
now.
the other three, yeah, I'm in the rabbit hole right now. Can't get out.
Cool. Nothing wrong about being in a rabbit hole. Happens
Right.
a lot. Right,
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. It happens. It happens. I'm up.
Yep, you are up.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't. Now that I don't go anywhere, I don't listen to anything other than like CDs, and YouTube. I watch way too many stupid videos on YouTube, and I listen watch a lot of stupid
Oh.
music videos.
Wait a minute. Your shirt does say that. Lean back a little bit.
Who?
Oh.
Chris.
Oh yeah. This is
That's
the
what I thought. I said, I'm looking at
Yeah,
it.
it's
I see the.
it's the Killers album.
that's-
done,
Oh my God.
What was that?
Where'd
It
you
says
get that?
Arkham Asylum, and it's the Joker.
Oh, that's badass.
Oh, that's
Chris.
so awesome,
Yeah, I forget where I got this from, but
dude. Where did you get that?
I don't know. Probably somewhere online, someplace.
That's awesome, man.
That
I'm glad I
is literally
said
killer.
something.
Yeah,
I'm glad I said something. That's awesome.
yeah. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking to Pete.
No, you're talking. I was talking to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a good one. I honestly can't remember where I got it from. I wish I did.
So cool.
But yeah, so I just watch a lot of crappy videos on YouTube of stuff I don't have, and if it's a song I like, I keep going back to it. And lately, I keep going back to a song I liked as a kid. I never bought the record. I never will. But it's "Fool's Game" from Michael Bolton. I just fucking love that song, man. You know,
I never
he just
expected that.
walks around with a guitar. He doesn't really play it until the solo. And every time I watch the video, I'm like, is that really him playing the solo? Or is that some other guy? But I'm also not a fan enough to give a shit to look it up just because I'm not buying the record. But I love that fucking song.
I don't think I've ever heard it.
Oh, really?
That's
It was
good.
kind of a, like in 83. I remember seeing it a lot on MTV.
That's his rock period. Yeah,
That's his rock stuff.
rock period. Yeah.
I celebrate his entire catalog.
Yeah, I mean, and I could have sworn he did shows with Ozzy on the Bark at the Moon tour.
Really?
Yeah, I could have sworn I read that somewhere. But that was his rock shtick.
I'm looking it up now, Chris. See if I can
What
find
was
it.
the? He was in a metal
The
band.
typer-
What was,
the typing fingers are going.
Yeah.
what was the name
Yeah.
of his metal band he was in? Was it Blackjack?
Blackjack. Yeah.
Why do I
Was it-
remember-
Was
see?
that with Billy Squire?
Useless
Which had
knowledge.
Bruce Kulick was in that. Yes.
Right, that's right.
Why do I know that?
Listen, on this panel, I'm looking at 6 people with lots of combined useless fucking trivia right now. So we could probably do a couple volumes right now.
Usually,
Fool's
yes,
Game
let's-
was on the Michael Bolton album, I think, right?
What was that?
Fool's Game. Yes, Fool's Game was on the self-titled one from 1983,
Yeah.
which the guitar player was
Moment of truth.
I don't know.
Bob Kulick and Bruce Kulick played lead and rhythm on a couple songs.
Okay.
And who's the other person in the band here? Thought I saw another name. Al Petrelli.
No, that makes
Oh.
sense.
Wow.
He played on the tour.
Back to Chris Caffrey.
Yeah, I'm sure it was one of those guys playing that solo. Because, as a kid, I thought he was cool because he had long hair. It was a catchy song. I liked it. He played guitar. But when you watch the video now, like, he's just kind of walking around with the guitar. He didn't fucking play it at all till the solo. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But it's still,
Because the other
it's a
guys
catchy
played.
song. I'll never buy the record, but I love that stupid
I'll
song.
have to check it out.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard it, or I
It's-
don't
it's-
remember
The
it.
next one's good too. Everybody's Crazy. That's even better, I think.
From Michael Bolton. I
Yeah,
don't
the
know
next
that.
album.
I'm gonna
That's
have to.
the next album.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
It's almost
Yeah,
frightening that he
everybody's-
knows that.
Yeah.
Can we
See,
can we
that's-
revoke his? You just gave him his card. Can we take it back?
That's
And on the
funny.
third record,
That's awesome.
All right, Chris, what else?
All
you
right, so my next one's a double shot. I really, I've always liked this band from a certain period. But these two songs, I don't have the records they're on, but I always go back and listen to them because they're catchy as fuck. It's the Ministry's synth pop era, and I just love those two songs, Revenge and Every Day is Halloween. I mean, I have every record from Land of Rape and Honey forward. I've seen them a ton of times. I've interviewed Al, but I'll never buy any of those synth pop records. But I love those. I love those two songs, and
Those songs
they're
are
always
great.
in my head. I play them all the time.
There's no shame in that. Those are great songs.
Sydney.
The dog.
Yep.
Nice.
That's your
And, yeah,
thing.
my last one's a new one. I guess it's new. I think it's from like 5 years ago. It's a pop band, but I love female vocals. And you guys know, if you're on YouTube, just shit pops up. Why this one popped up, I have no idea. I don't know anything about them. But it's a band called Charlie XCX. They did a cover of I Want Candy, and I watched this girl band, and I was mesmerized. I must have watched that video 20 times now.
I had no idea what you were gonna say, but it was not that.
I would have lost that bet.
Yeah, and then I did, just out of curiosity, click on one of their other songs, and that lasted about 3 seconds. I was like, oh no, I gotta go. But yeah, that I Want Candy video, that's entertaining.
That's probably worth checking out, right?
Yeah.
God.
And that's my 3.
All right. All right. So what do I got? All right. So my first one, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people who are watching. Maybe not this crew here, but there's a certain band that people have been up in arms about for years that I never talk about, that I don't seem to be into. I don't dislike them. They just never really clicked with me. But I made a promise like a couple weeks ago. I said, I'm going to, once again, for like the 10th time in like the last 30 years, I'm going to make an attempt to try and get and appreciate King's X.
I knew it. As soon as you said that, I knew it.
And the song that I can't, because I got that little box set of the first 5 albums right on CD, and the song I can't get out of my head this week is Music, I hear music over my head, man. What a great song. So I am trying, everybody who's watching. We'll see how far I get. They got a lot of albums. So I'm making my way once again through the King's X catalog, and we'll see how that goes. But
it's coming around.
Great song, great riff on that, right? That's a really good album. I've always liked the Gretchen album. I think that's fine stuff right there.
Quintessential.
But, so that's my first choice. My second choice, I've been listening to this album for most of my life, and I've been listening to a lot lately. And Mr. Blue Sky by ELO.
Oh,
always loved that as a kid.
Right? I mean, it's just so I've been listening to Out of the Blue a lot lately because I had to do. It was a pick for one of on another show I did, and I can't get that damn song out of my head. I see the commercial. It's like it's just Mr. Blue Sky about I'm like, oh my god, please stop.
You want to feel good? Just you listen to ELO. It's like,
I know. I mean, I love ELO. I always have. It's one of my like kind of go-to bands since I was a little kid. But so that's my number 2, and my number 3. Got to pick a new one here. Is a song from this very fine album, the brand new one from Cheap Trick, and the song is called "Here's Looking at You." It is so catchy, and Robin Zander still sounds really good. And I love that on most of the choruses on this album, you can hear Rick, because Rick's got that real kind of nerdy, like schoolboy voice, and he's on the chorus on here. It's just such a cool, rockin' power pop song from these guys, and this whole album is a lot of fun. So if you get a chance to check it out, Here's Looking at You from the In Another World album, brand new from Cheap Trick. That's my third pick for today.
All right,
back to Butch for how about some albums, right?
Yeah.
Dig it out, please.
Oh, is the dog happy, Ryan?
Oh yeah, he don't like being put down. Only picked up.
Oh, it's like, no, I don't want to go anywhere, Daddy.
Yeah, that's a problem. You don't want to get put down.
All right, so my first one. So this is gonna be. I'm actually swearing because this is actually a fun mix here of 3 albums that I've been listening to lately. Where year is this from? I'm guessing this is from '84. Hold on. Of course it does. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, '84. I'm really good at getting the years of albums. Jag Panthers,
Destruction, yeah.
Awesome.
Ample Destruction.
It's a good
I
one.
was listening to
Nice.
it today.
Were you really?
Yeah, Harry Conklin. His voice is
Ooh, you can't fuck with the Tyrant.
oh, he's
Ah.
the fucking best. Oh God, I love that album.
In the back. Yeah, I've had this since it came out, man. This was something I think I found from Kerrang magazine actually, on their little independent label Ironworks,
Mhm.
which is actually pretty funny. Ample Destruction, Jag Panzer. This is great independent metal from '84. That record, it still sounds great. Joey Tafola played guitar on it. He was in the band at that time. Great stuff. And on the Butcher Shop, shameless plug, I've been doing, for the month of April, I've been doing underrated guitar players every day. And the tag team of Chris DeGarmo, Michael Wilton, and Queensryche has made me been listening to this album a lot lately. And there's actually, if you can see it, you can see the autograph from Chris DeGarmo
Nice.
from 1984.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
The Warning, how much more brilliant. I mean, the EP is phenomenal, but you want to talk about a debut record? That band was fully formed, fully developed when they came out. That's just an amazing album.
You know what? I know it's easy to pick Mindcrime as a favorite album of theirs, but in most cases pick that album. I love that album.
I always go with Rage for Order, but there's always a song. I like Rage for Order because it's the most underground. It's different. It's weird. Like after The Warning, which was so heavy and so here we are, and then they went to Rage for Order with the different look and everything. You're like, what the hell is going on here? But both of those two records, Mindcrime is phenomenal. But I have to be honest with you, it never did much for me. I like it, but I think it was because I was already into them from the EP. So by the time that Mindcrime came and the videos came, they became everybody's band, and they weren't my band anymore, which kind of bugged me. But that's the way it is with all the bands that I like. But
The live show from Japan from that tour is awesome.
oh, it's phenomenal. Yeah, I have that. That's great. It's great with Prophecy, them playing Prophecy live. God damn. And here's one that you would not probably see coming. But there is nothing not to like about this band, to be honest with you. Parliament Funkadelic.
That's a great album. Yep.
That is an awesome album.
You know,
yeah.
one of my favorite albums of all time is a P-Funk album called The Clones of Dr. Funkenstein.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
And
What a
there's
great
Dr.
title.
Funkenstein on the cover. There's no way you can't laugh. This is the greatest thing ever. Oh my God, George Clinton.
There was like 20 guys on stage during that performance.
They had to have gotten paid like $1 million a show because he had to pay everybody. It's amazing. But
You can't be in a bad mood listening to that band. You listen to those guys, you're in a great fucking mood.
They were. I've always joked even as a kid when I really didn't know all that much about them. All I knew is that they were on Casablanca Records like Kiss was, and you saw their stage get-ups and everything. They were the Black Kiss. They were. I mean, look, Dr. Funkenstein is coming out of a spaceship. They had a spaceship on stage in 1976. A spaceship? And here comes the Black Dr. Funkenstein as the pimp. Look at it. It's the greatest thing ever. This record is so awesome. I mean, George Clinton has such a great sense of humor, but mixed it with funk and his own agenda or whatever he was trying to get out there. That is just, and actually, you know what? To be honest with you, I didn't buy that. I stole this from my father.
Nice.
And it says that it has the post.
Sydney knows a lot about that.
Yeah, well, you know, exactly.
Just
Everything
saying.
Behind me, no, I actually bought a lot of these, but
But if you guys if you've never heard the P-Funk live, or at least get the Clones of Dr. Funkenstein, that record, like I said, that's what this tour, the live album is from.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And
then you get this occasional like Jimi Hendrix guitar solo, right?
Oh
Not
my
like
God.
Jimmy, of course, but yeah,
and
that's good stuff.
And I know his name, and Michael
Hampton, right?
Oh, that's it. Michael Hampton. Thank you very much. Very good, Pete. Good assist.
You're the man, Pete.
And Here's another fun, dumb fact that no one cares about but me. There are pictures of like Edward always gets credit for having the first guy playing a Strat with a humbucker in it, because that's not what a Fender Stratocaster had. It had 3 single coils. There are pictures of Michael Hampton with P-Funk in 1973 with a Strat with the humbucker in the bridge. So as much as I love Edward was notorious for it. He was a guy that was able to claim, not that he claimed it, but people just kind of gave it to him, but he stole stuff from everybody, including the black and white striped guitar. That wasn't his thing. He stole that from somebody else, and there's pictures of that too. But I just love that he was able to steal different things, and other people had really deserved their credit but never got it, and Edward got it. But that's okay because it was Edward, so that's good enough for me. But
yeah,
Parliament
George had
Live,
some
great
good
record.
guitar players playing in some of his bands. Man, Eddie Hazel, Mike Hampton. There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, absolutely. There was some fun stuff, and they're up there wearing diapers and big noses that were 3 feet long. But they were so fun.
Cool. All right, Mr. Scow, what do you got?
Oh man, it's gonna be tough to follow up P-Funk, but I'll see what I can do here. So I'm always listening to a million albums every week, so I just kind of pulled a little mixture. So the first thing that came to mind is I've been listening to this a lot. There's a German prog rock band. It started off as kind of like a typical hard rock band in the early 70s, transitioned into more of like a Pink Floydish prog rock band in the later 70s.
Oh, I know where
And
this
in the
is.
80s, they became like space rock, like Hawkwind, but more synths and stuff. So the band is Eloy, and the album I've been listening to a lot is from 1981. It's called, or it's from 81. Yeah, from 81. It's called Planets.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I kind of like the 70s shit a little better, like Silent Cries and Mighty Echoes from 79. But I've been listening to these early 80s albums more. They're a little like the guitar is emphasized less. The keyboards are brought way more in the mix. It's like just like good chilling out headphones music, But yeah, this is really, really fucking catchy stuff though. Like they write some, it's not just all kind of like washes of keyboards and no songs. Like the songs are awesome. So I've been blasting this a lot. This is a great album. It's Planets from Eloy from 81. I think I don't know if it was you, Pete, that turned me on to these guys, but once I heard of them, like, how the fuck did I miss out on this band for all these years? Like, I gotta get all these albums, Jesus. They have so many good albums from going from the 70s going into the 80s, and some newer ones that I haven't even heard yet. So
yeah, the newer ones are pretty good, but I like that
album,
because they've got those different eras, right? The early stuff is very like Hammond organ, heavy guitar, like Deep Purple type of thing.
Yeah.
And then they moved into the Pink
Deep
Floyd
Purple.
thing.
Then they got it's like more proggy than Pink Floyd. Like Pink Floyd would like those like Chris Squire like beat runs. It's cool shit. So second album, this is going up a little newer. It's from 2006. This is an American band. Band's called Pharaoh. The album's called The Longest Night.
Oh,
So if you remember, after Death ended or kind of ended in the late 90s, Chuck did a little band called Control Denied for one album, and he had a singer on that album called Tim. Obviously, Chuck passed away. Control Denied only did that one album, and I was never really into that album too much. It's cool, but I kind of like the older Death stuff more. But Tim's other band, which he did concurrent to that and does to this day, they actually have a new album coming out, is Pharaoh. So this is just awesome American heavy metal. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. His vocals fucking rule. It's epic. It's like kind of like I don't even know really what I compare it to because it's pretty unique. The drummer is Chris Black, also plays in High Spirits. So some of these bands, some of these guys do time in some other bands. So a couple years ago, they never play live. They play I think they played like twice in the last decade. A couple years ago, they played in Chicago. I couldn't make it out there. But Chris sent me a T-shirt for the show. So I forgot. I went to New York City the next day. I'm watching some band in Gramercy Theater, and a guy, I'm having a beer downstairs with Keeler, and a guy's like, "Oh man, Pharaoh, that's a cool shirt." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, you ever hear of these guys? Like they're kind of underground, kind of underrated." So I started telling him all about it, and I talked to this guy for like 10 minutes about, "Oh, you got to check these guys out. This album." He's like, "Yeah, man, you know what? I'm actually the guitarist for that band. Glad you appreciate it."
That's funny.
He didn't say shit. He just kind of let me go. I'm like, oh, well, and you know.
Well, it's good you weren't like, yeah, I got the shirt, but the band kind of sucks. Or, I only like the demo, man. Only the demo.
Well, actually, the earliest shit is I think the first album's the worst. That's a rare.
Yeah, there's very few of
exception.
those.
But they kick
That's
ass.
funny shit.
So they've got 4 albums now. Yeah, I think this is the best one. This is the second one. From
Was it
2006.
Tim Amer was his name? Something like that? Almer or
Yeah,
something like that?
Ibar or something
it's
like
like A
Yeah.
Y, yeah, M A
Something
R.
like that.
Yeah, I think his vocals are way better in this band too. I thought with Control Denied, I don't know, it just kind of, I don't want to say rubbed me the wrong way, but I could never really get into that album, even though I gave it a lot of chances. But so, anyways, last band is a thrash metal band from Norway. Listen to these guys all the time. I've been playing this album a lot. This is their 4th album. I think we're going to go with 4th album. 4th album from 2012. Band's Or Noir. This album's Out to Die. So these guys have they're kind of underground. They haven't played a lot of shows. They broke up about a year or two ago. They never really played much in the U.S. I did get to see them once, but these guys, between the 3 of them, they've spent time in Mayhem, Immortal, Virus, Over, like all these other Norwegian bands. So this is like their little thrash project they did, and yeah, if you like old Sodom, Creator, Destruction, like early Slayer, like that kind of thrash, where it's just like dude's got like an old M60 machine gun, just like when the guitar's just blasting rips at you nonstop, no fucking let up, no ballads, no slow shit. You'll love these guys. And vocalist kind of reminds me a little bit of Tom G. Warrior from Celtic Frost. Not as like rough, but he's got that kind of tone to him. Really cool. I don't know. I think the shit out of him. I blast them all the time. So this is Out to Die from 2012 from Or Noir, great Norwegian band. Nope. That's all I got.
Dig that cover.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool as shit.
Yeah, it kind of looks
Great
like a
band.
Voivod cover almost.
You know what? They actually put out one album after this. It was like a self-titled album, and that album had like a void. But the guitarist is Rune Eriksson from he used to play in Mayhem from like the late '90s, early 2000s.
Sure, yeah.
Great guitar player, and I thought his shit in Mayhem was cool. I thought he fit good with the band, but the stuff he does in this band, he kind of channels Piggy at times. Like he has this, you know, I don't want to say he sounds like Piggy because really nobody does, and he's got his own guitar tone.
Right.
But his stuff in this band is really cool. His guitar playing is phenomenal. Not so much with the leads, just more of the rhythm stuff. But his rhythm playing is really like super fucking tight. Like when I saw them, they played at the Knitting Factory in Brooklyn a couple of years ago. I was just watching.
I remember that. Yeah.
I was watching his picking hand the whole time. It was almost like kind of like Jeff Waters from Annihilator, where it's like Jesus fucking Christ, just watching the guy go. You know, really tight, like you know, super precise riffing. So I dig that. So they kicked ass and
Nice.
yeah.
Awesome. Sydney, back to you.
All right. So the first album, I don't have my physical copy with me, it's in here, but it's okay. The first album is actually one that I mentioned last week, that I'm going to mention again just because I've been listening to it like crazy. And that is Fleetwood Mac Rumors. And I don't know why, I've just been on a kick. I got the record. I think I mentioned this last week, but I got a copy of the record, and sometimes, you know, you get a new copy of something and you just play it out. And that's what I've been doing with that record specifically. And it had been a little bit since I've heard it, but I've just been listening to it pretty much nonstop. And it's just, like I mentioned last week, you know, Fleetwood Mac, and that record is so intricate. And I, you know, in listening to it, I've really been noticing a lot of different things in each song, you know, just listening to it over and over again that I didn't really notice before. So that one has just been on constantly. And especially
timeless album.
It's just
Great.
It's insane. And You Make Love and Fun is another song that's just been stuck in my head, you know, going back to that topic, like that one just has been stuck in my head like crazy. So that's the first one. I talked about that one a bit though last week, so I won't go.
Wait, so what's your favorite song on the album?
That's a good question. I'd probably say I Don't Want to Know, because it's just fun. But it's hard. That's just one of those albums. It's like every song from beginning to end is like just classic. Like there are some songs I could probably go without hearing again, you know, like sometimes, you know, once I get them played out, like, you know, Dreams, everybody knows Dreams, and, you know, Go Your Own Way and everything. But, you know, even like Gold Dust Woman and stuff, it's a classic.
I like asking because I know it's difficult because I hate when people ask me stuff like that. Like, what's your favorite song on the album? It's like, oh my God. So I like asking other people to make you feel my pain.
Yeah, I probably would say right now, I Don't Want to Know, because it's just like, it's just a fun one. I feel like that one's sometimes a little bit underrated on that record. A lot of people don't really talk about it. The second record, it's funny because I've been kind of going back to some of the records that came out last year that I played a lot during the beginning of the pandemic. And it's funny because you associate, you know, when you listen to music for the first time or a piece of music for the first time, you often like associate when you go back and listen to it, what life was like when you listen to it for the first time. And so I'm noticing with some of the records that I really got into during the pandemic, it reminds me of like sitting alone in my room for like 2 months and like, you know, just that time period. So I've been listening a lot to Black Swan, Shake the World, which I love that record. That's that super group with Jeff Pilson, Robin McCauley, Matt Starr, and Reb Beach from Winger.
I expected so much more from that record, I have to admit.
Really? I loved it.
I was disappointed.
I don't know. I loved it. I kind of go back to it. It's one of those I played it out for a while. And I kind of let it simmer for a bit, and then I've come back to it. And I don't know. I love it. I love Robin McCauley. I think he sounds fantastic. I know I mentioned the album on the show, I think a couple months back, but Robin just sounds great. And I think the songwriting really captures that melodic, you know, kind of hard rock sound, but you can't really like nail it to it sounding like Winger or sounding like Dokken or sounding like MSG.
Yep.
You know, kind of, I feel like stands on its own, but is within that style. So that's really cool. And I wanted to get the vinyl, but it's been sold out for so long. So they're coming out with like a gold colored vinyl that I'm gonna get finally. But I love that record. And if you love 80s melodic hard rock and you haven't heard it, I would definitely recommend that you go listen to it.
Quality's got a new solo album coming out like in a month, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, on May 7th. And I got the advanced copy. I was actually listening to the advanced copy today. And it's like, if you know Robin McCauley, you know the stuff that he normally does, but it's kind of like, it's got hard rock to it. It's got a little bit of like that 80s, like,
Grand Prix.
Like soft, yeah, Grand Prix, man. The soft rock kind of bit to it. Like it's definitely kind of, you know, aimed towards that, of course, style. I mean, that's, you know, kind of what he's been doing for the last 30 years. But I mean, I just think he sounds great. Like
He does sound good. He's
saw
aged very
this,
well.
God, I saw this video of him back in 2018 doing he's singing Anytime at, you know, one of the Michael Schenker Fest shows. And holy crap, dude. I mean, for being like 64, 65 years old, or I think it might even be older. Like he sounds better than half of the singers that were like huge.
His voice is aged very well.
Yeah.
So well.
Very well.
And I will say at that last Michael Schenker Fest show at Irving Plaza, New York City, I think a few of us were at that show. In fact, I remember Butch specifically, we were texting, he was up on the floor. And when he came out and they sang Anytime, the place went bananas. And you wouldn't think like, you know, that sometimes that era of Schenker's history is not looked at as kindly, but man, everybody was into it and singing. It was one of the highlights of the night.
Yeah, he sounded great.
Yeah, he's a great talent. I saw him like 4 times in a year because I saw 2 of the Schenker Fest shows, and then I saw Robin McCauley twice in Vegas at that rock show.
Raiding the Rock Vault.
Yeah, so much fun. So yeah, he's great.
Yeah,
just a talent, man. I mean, and personally, that I love that era of MSG, the Macaulay Schenker group. Like I love Save Yourself and all those. I mean, that's pretty on par with my interests. So I love that, and I love Robin McCauley. So I mean, Black Swan, he sounded great, and so just such catchy songs. The last record I have is one that I actually listened to today, and I wasn't gonna make this list originally, but I put it on today, and I was like, yes. And it's this album right here, Tesla, The Great Radio Controversy.
My favorite Tesla album.
Everybody's favorite Tesla album.
This album changed 16-year-old Sydney's life forever. I love Tesla. They're one of my very favorite bands, but this was an album that this was my dad's copy. So I do take things from my dad, Butch and Chris. So this was my dad's copy.
Nice.
And I, you know, when I first got my record player, you know, at that point I was just putting on albums that my dad had given me and I didn't really listen to. And I put this on for the first time and it was just like my mind was just blown. Jeff Keith is one of my very favorite vocalists ever. They've got that, you know, bluesy, you know, just hard rock edge to them that made them so different, I feel like, than some of the bands at that time. You know, they really captured just something that I feel like a lot of bands just didn't have at that time.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
It's just from top to bottom, there's like not a bad song. And Lady Luck, which I think I've talked about on here too, is my favorite Tesla song ever. And I've never seen them play it live, which I'm like begging whenever they come back for shows. I'm like, please add it into your set. But this is one of those albums that I kind of like listen to a lot because it's so important to me. And then I put it away for a little bit. And when I break it out again, it's just like the first time I listened to it. It's insane. So I put this on today when I was doing some work earlier, and I was like, oh, this had to make my list because it's just amazing.
Well, you know what, Sydney? I tease you usually every week because I know that it's with love.
Yeah.
People out there are like, why is he picking on her? Because that's what I do, but I'm only teasing her. But so I'm gonna hit you on two things. Well, one I'm gonna tease you, but the other one I'm gonna hit you on. So I'm gonna hit you on this. When we're done, go to YouTube. There is, and I have it already. There is a show of Tesla at the Orange County Speedway.
Oh, I've seen it.
Have you seen it? Okay, so you've heard. Okay, and I'm. Do they not do Lady Luck in that? I'm pretty sure they do.
They do Lady Luck. That was,
Yeah.
I think, the only. I think the only tour that they've ever done it on. And again, I go back to was right across the street from my high school, so I had to live forever looking at over the parking lot and going, oh, remember that time I watched on YouTube. But yeah, they did that song and they haven't done it since. And I mean, it's one of those things where Tesla, I feel like, and I totally understand it because of the way the music industry is now and where they're at in their career. But they're doing a lot of these tours where they open for Def Leppard and they're kind of giving these like really short sets.
Yeah. Yep.
And so they can only squeeze in. They got to do Hang Tough, which I love, but they got to do Love Song. They got to do Modern Day Cowboy. They've got, I mean, there's some songs that they can't not do, but there's a couple songs, man, where I'm like, oh, like, could you please just break that out? And Lady Luck is one of them. It's just a really hard rocking track and often goes under the radar, especially like in their entire catalog. So
those first three Tesla albums just kicked major.
Oh God, they're just so good.
You can say four. I mean, I don't know. I think the only album of theirs I really don't like much is the most recent one they did. All the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
They deserved as much, to me, in my opinion, as much success as like Def Leppard or any of those bands. I don't know. I feel like
I agree.
They were given, just not what they deserved.
They came at a time where the bands that they toured with were already big.
Yeah.
And they were coming up kicking ass and making people take a lot of notice of what was going on with them. But they could never catch up to the bands that were ahead of them because they were already ahead of them. And then the tides changed. So they just kind of made friends with those bands and toured with them. So they got the exposure a little bit, but yeah, they never got that chance to, if the times hadn't changed, I think they would have done it. Cause they were, at that time, they were the band that was carrying the flag for the hard rock, and you can just dress in jeans and a t-shirt. And this is what we do. This is what we are. Here it is. There was no pretentiousness at all. And I think that was one of the things that people loved about Tesla, especially at that time, because there was so many. I mean, even they were in the beginning a little bit with the hair up and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But dress-wise, they weren't flashy. They were just dressed down. And then by that record, the second record, they're like, "Fuck it, this is what we do: jeans, t-shirts, fuck it, let's go."
Yeah,
so it was awesome.
Funny thing about this album too is I had to do a project. I took a recording class in college, like this, I think it was probably like, I don't know, 2.5 years ago I did it. I had to do like a big final recording. I had to record a full song from beginning to end or whatever, and I did Love Song. And I recorded the entire thing, and it was so funny because I'd worked with my friend, and we pumped in the crowd noise from like the video and like everything. So I'm like, man, if I ever get the opportunity, I want to show somebody in that band that recording that I spent like months on.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
And the other favorite song. Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say my favorite song on that album that I've never heard live is "Flight to Nowhere."
Oh, that's such a good
I love
one
that
too.
song. Yep.
Paradise on here, like, even like Lazy Days, Crazy Nights, the way it is, it's just
There's not a bad song on that record. That is one of those perfect records. That record is just smokes.
freaking great.
Yeah. But I do want.
As Ryan gets a shower here. Rich.
What's that?
I says as Ryan gets his shower, you can give us.
Oh,
There you go.
No, really? I got to swipe.
Clean that
Oh
head,
my God,
man.
there it is. There it is.
Doing it like in sync somehow.
That's the cleanest scalp in the Hudson Valley.
And every time that I'm going on, love it. So funny. It's in the stars, right?
I think she just knows.
It goes. It's in the stars. Planets have aligned,
That will be in the takeaways, Rich. Guaranteed.
right?
It's in the stars.
Tonic Distillery.
Nice.
Butch, how many bottles of bourbon you go through a week? Oh boy.
No,
I was gonna say that was
Honestly,
a heavy sigh.
Honestly, maybe one. I have a bunch, so I kind of spread them around, so it's not so bad.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
It's not so bad.
But you know what the thing? It sounds bad, but when you drink it on the rocks, you're not mixing it, so it's pure alcohol with ice, so it goes quickly.
Yeah.
So maybe one.
One, not bad. All right, Rich, what do you got?
All right. As the dog commences.
She's off the race.
So another ranking that we're doing at Sea of Tranquility is Bruce Dickinson solo albums.
Oh, I know what my number
So-
one is.
I've been listening to those and never was a fan of Picasso or Skunkworks.
Oh, Skunkworks is the shit right there. That's it.
Didn't I tell you, Rich?
I know. And when I was listening to
We were
them,
talking
I
about that the other day. I
finally-
said Butch's favorite is Skunkworks.
Still,
It's
I
so
love,
awesome.
I love Chemical and I love Accident, but I have gained a new appreciation of Skunkworks and Balls to Picasso.
Yeah.
So don't like them as much as the other two that I just mentioned, but I like them a little more, even though a little more alternative, kind of a little bit grungy, maybe a little bit. Definitely a sign of the times, because it was what Picasso was 94, Skunkworks was 96.
You know why I like Skunkworks? Because Bruce gets to sing. He doesn't
Yeah.
have to. He doesn't have to be Bruce Dickinson. He can just
Right.
sing.
That's true.
And you get to see a completely different side of him that you've never heard before.
Agreed. That's why I gained a new appreciation for it.
Excellent.
Because
excellent.
Tattooed Millionaire is very similar to, kind of No Prayer for the Dying era,
Right.
sort of,
Yeah.
vocally. And then Accident chemically gets back to his roots a little bit more.
Yeah.
So Skunkworks, Picasso's grown on me a little bit. So I'm gonna throw those two in there. Aside from
Excellent.
what else I've been listening to, these going back to them again, and Tattooed Millionaire is okay, and I really like Tyranny of Souls too.
I was gonna say that's one of my favorite ones. It's a little later on.
That's one of my favorites
It's a
too.
great album.
Yeah, it's going to be tough how I rank all these things, but it's going to be weird now because like I said, I appreciate Picasso and Skunkworks a little bit more now. So we'll see where everything lands.
Mm.
So yeah, the Bruce Dickinson discography I'm going through.
Cool.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that on Saturday, right?
Saturday.
Everybody would look out for that on Saturday.
I got to see Dickinson on the Turner, not Accident of Birth with Adrian
Nice.
at Toe's Place, New Haven, and they opened for Geezer Butler.
Go figure, right? You never
that
see
was-
that again.
That was really cool. See,
Never see that again. That's
right? That was really,
Yeah.
really, really cool.
Toad's Place is pretty cool. All right, Mr. Allo, how about you? What do you got?
All right, this week I've been listening to the new Cannibal Corpse record,
How
Violence
is that?
Unimagined. I fucking love it, man.
All right, I gotta get it.
I mean, it's super heavy, but man, there's just ripping guitar leads everywhere on this thing, which I'm like,
Got Eric
wow.
on board now, man. It's like, woo.
I was talking to my buddy, and he's like, "Oh, it's got to be because of Eric Rattan." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even fucking think of that." But man, it's awesome. I mean, these guys never disappoint. But I don't remember liking the last record as much as this record. I like too that there's a ton of the slower stuff because my favorite Cannibal songs are the slower songs. That's why I think they're so heavy. The slow grinding fucking groove stuff is great. And yeah, I'm really digging this new record. So that's one of my picks. I've been doing homework for Steve Keeler because I'm doing something with John on the band Massacre. So I dug. I love this record, but I hadn't heard it in years and years and years. So I dug up From Beyond, which is the old one from Earache Records. And then I'm like, oh man, they had that EP. Well, you can't find the EP anywhere except on the reissue. So of course I had to fucking buy it again. I'm like, oh Jesus. But man, this is great, old school, very groovy, early 90s Florida death metal, and man, it's so good. And then I found this label called they call themselves Black Cat Records. Apparently they've been putting out bootlegs for years because I love collecting bootlegs and I love collecting live shows. And man, they have two super early discs of two of my all-time favorite bands. This one is from Max's Kansas City. This is December 20th, 1978, from the Misfits. And man, it's one of the best recordings ever.
Of Disease.
With Bobby Steele playing guitar, and it's only like a 30-minute set, but it's really good. And this other one, man, I keep listening to it for the the unreleased tracks, and it's a shocker that the recording is so good. This is from November 1969. The record is called Holy Grail, and it's supposedly the first ever live recording from Black Sabbath. And it's really cool because there's 4 unreleased tracks on here. Let Me Love You Baby, which cracks me up every time I hear it. Blue Blooded Man, A Song for Jim, and what the fuck's the other one? There's another one.
Very Black Sabbath title there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
How about this one? Early Morning School from Black Sabbath. And of course, they were smart, whoever was working with them, that they cut off these 4 songs really were not so good. They was good that they were cut from the record, but it's so cool to hear this really early shit, and it's a shockingly decent recording that somebody did on a reel to reel in 1969. It's really cool to hear this stuff, and
gotta check that out. Oof.
Yeah, it's good. It's a double disc because there's the original recording and then somebody EQ'd the second disc, and I mean it's like a 60-minute set. Of course, there's a long drum solo and a long guitar solo, but like even NIB is like completely different lyrics. So it's really cool. I mean, if you're a big Sabbath fan, which I kind of am a little bit, it's cool to have.
I was going to say, what else is on it?
It's 9 tracks. So the first song, they actually opened with Black Sabbath, but the guy that did the recording, I read the story. I don't know if he got there late or something, so he's only got the tail end. Second track is Let Me Love You Baby. Third is Song for Jim, which goes into the Bill Ward drum solo. Then they've got The Warning, Wicked World, which is, both of those are kind of extended. Behind the Wall of Sleep, Early Morning School, NIB with totally different lyrics, and Blue Blooded Man. So it's like half the first Black Sabbath record and half unreleased tracks.
They were on their way. They kind of was starting to get their identity.
Yeah. I mean, and it's amazing too, because I'm like, all right, well, this is November 9th, 1969, but the first record came out February 13th, 1970.
Oh shit!
So
they had to get their shit together.
they got their shit together quick, and they decided, okay, let's jettison a whole bunch of songs.
Wow.
And of course, I know Pete and I did some Sabbath videos recently, and we talked about how, man, there's got to be more cool stuff in the vaults that they're not giving us. And I'm like, holy shit, right here. Like, you mean there's not, so that's a whole nother video. But
what was the name of the second song?
Let Me Love You Baby.
Yeah, Let Me Love You Baby.
Maybe that's why they're not showing up, because they don't.
Exactly.
No, it's true.
Like Sabbath, Let Me Love You Baby.
Like I said, with these songs, it was good that they were cut. Maybe that first Black Sabbath record wouldn't be so revered if Let Me Love You Baby was on there. Or A Song for Jim with the fucking flute on it. It's a flute.
Heavy metal would be all different.
Yeah.
Kind of breaks up the vibe, right?
For a little while.
So yeah, funny shit. But yeah, this one's worth seeking out.
Yeah, I may have to get that.
Might have to find that too. Yeah.
eBay. Yeah.
All right. to finish this all off here today, I got a few selections. So I just got this. I don't know why I didn't buy this when it first came out. And Butch talked about this album on a recent show we did. And one of my other guests on the In the Prague Seat show was talking about how great the live disc is on here. So I was intrigued. I said, screw it, I'm going to get it. So it's the Rush Permanent Waves reissue that came out a few years back.
I got to get that one. You told me about that one.
And, you know, I mean, the remaster sounds fine, but that's not the reason why I bought it. It's a second disc of all live stuff, mostly taken from the UK on that tour. I mean, just listen to the set list. Beneath, Between, Behind, Vitor and the Snow Dog, Xanadu, The Spirit of Radio, Natural Science, The Trees, Cygnus X1, Book 1 and 2. Yeah, Closer to the Heart, Jacob's Ladder, and Free Will.
Wow.
That's a fucking settle right there.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the greatest Rush live album ever, right? I mean, it sounds fantastic. I mean, it's the only thing I don't like is that they changed the cover.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's weird.
But you know what? It's kind of cool that you're buying the same thing again, but we're going to give you a different cover. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess. Well, but you know what the weird thing with me is that I was all prepared to like take my old, you know, the last remaster and get rid of that. But then this came in with a different cover. And I'm like, well, I can't get rid of that because I got to have, you know, the original.
The curse.
Right? Exactly. Yes.
Chris Allo curse.
Yep. But worth having if you're a Rush fan, and the live stuff is killer, absolutely killer.
And it's great that it's amazing to think that I saw that tour as a kid, and I loved them at the time. So it wasn't like I didn't understand, but as you get older, to understand what they played then. Oh my God!
I wasn't allowed to go to shows yet, and I was into them, but I would have loved to see them on that tour.
Oh man,
so good, so good. I was going to say something else, and I totally lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
I got the olds,
which is spreading,
which is sweeping the world. Let me tell you, I hear people saying it all the time now.
That's funny.
Liquid Tension Experiment 3.
I haven't heard it yet.
Freshly released, 2 discs. The first disc is all the new studio tracks, and the second disc is all these cool improvs, which, quite frankly, are equally as good as the regular tracks that are totally structured and composed. I mean, if you just absolutely sick instrumentation, great grooves, and lots of melody. Mike Portnoy, John Petrucci, Tony Levin, and Jordan Rudess. Great stuff, all instrumental.
Wow.
This is really good. Inglorious, the brand new Inglorious. Speaking of, we talked about Frontiers Records before. So
that singer, man, that dude is
We
awesome.
Will Ride, man. Oh yeah, what's his James? What's his first name?
Nathan James.
Nathan James.
Hey, you know what? I'm not gonna say his name, but it is funny that guy tries to do a certain band with a certain guitar player, and they sound a lot like that certain guitar player from 1987. That's all I'm gonna say.
Who might that be? I wonder.
Say it. Say it.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry, Pete. I just remembered this as I was just saying that. I'm completely sorry. Somebody on Facebook, we were talking about me creating a drinking game, and I haven't done it, so I haven't ruined it. But
nobody's drinking tonight, apparently. So know.
The drinking game is supposed to be if any of us mention that guy's name that I'm not going to mention, that you all know who I'm talking about, mention his name. Who else is?
I don't know.
It's supposed to be his name, the band that he was in 1983. Oh my God, I forgot what the other ones were. Oh, this one I'm going to say. If we say Cozy fucking Powell, you're supposed to drink if we say his name. And there was another one, and I totally forgot. So I'm sorry. But so it's Cozy Powell. If any of us ever say Cozy Powell, the guitar player that was in that other band in 1983 and in 1987, well, I'm not saying his name, so you don't have to drink. But there's a fourth one. But I'm sorry. I completely spaced and I totally forgot. But yeah, there is supposed to be a Hudson Valley Squares drinking game that I completely ruined at the last 5 minutes of the show. but I haven't said their names anyway, so you don't have to drink. But
Next week.
Next week.
We'll do it.
but John Sykes, Thin Lizzy, White Snake, drink.
Nice.
What about Tigers?
No, Tigers wasn't part of it, but we
don't
can
talk
make it
about
part of
Tigers
it.
enough. We
That's
don't talk
funny.
about Tigers enough, I guess. And I remember what I was going to say.
Sorry.
before. I was going to bitch about how many times I've actually bought permanent waves in all its different incarnations. And it's like that with so many of these days.
A curse.
Great
It's a
album.
curse.
Curse.
But yeah, back to Inglorious. So We Will Ride, Frontiers Records, really good. Nathan James, really great singer. Joel Hoekstra co-writes a couple tracks on here. It's just big riffs. I mean, Butch said it to it's if you love vintage 80s Whitesnake, I mean, that's kind of the vibe here. It's just bluesy hard rock, but great hooks and choruses, really good riffs, and he's just such a kick-ass singer. So been listening to that quite a bit, and I'm saving what might be, well, I'm not saying it's the best for last, but this is really good. If folks have not listened to this band, you need to. They're from Iceland, of all places. The Vintage Caravan, Monuments, absolutely killer. If you love, like, God, vintage, Humble Pie, Free, Bad Company, Deep Purple, killer bluesy European style hard rock, 70s style hard rock. It's a little psychedelic in spots. Great vocals, amazing guitar work. Really, really good. I think this is it's either their third or fourth album, something like that.
Never heard of them.
Oh yeah, you need to check them out. They're now on Napalm Records. They used to be on Nuclear Blast. Amazing stuff. Really,
So
really
you-
good. If
you
you
just
love
drew
like the
some-
Scandinavian stuff, that the retro sounding hard rock that's been, coming
Yeah.
out of Sweden and Norway and whatnot. Iceland's got it going too. Very good.
All right, so you've piqued my interest big time. So if you had to give me an example of vocally, who he reminds you of, who? 'Cause you said Humble Pie, so the first thing you said
but
that,
more, not so
I'm
much
thinking
in the
Marriott.
vocals, more of in the music feel.
Okay.
Vocally, he's got a unique voice. I don't think he really sounds like anybody that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he's got a pretty unique voice, but
Okay.
musically you could tell where they're drawn from. But
Awesome.
really good riffs, a lot of great lead guitar work on here, and the grooves are there. I mean, they're a trio. So they got that thing going, right? Yes.
Enough said. Yep.
So I would highly recommend this. The Vintage Caravan, Monuments, all their albums are really good. This is the brand new one. I've been listening to this nonstop since I got it the last week. So review coming on the channel fairly soon.
And here's another little tidbit. I'm full of tidbits today. You mentioned Nathan James. I don't know if you should know this, but Nathan James has another. I don't know what their project is called yet, but there's another project coming with Nathan James singing with Hoekstra and Michael Sweet, Tommy Aldridge, and I don't remember who the bass player is. So
Wow.
I'm sorry, but
Was it Marco Mendoza?
you know what? I this is one of the times I really don't know at all.
Let's just say yeah, because he's in every fucking band otherwise. So,
We'll look up. Maybe I can
You know
find it
what?
real quick.
like, isn't he supposed to be on Hudson Valley Squares? Isn't he in that?
You know what? I have a bone to pick with Marco Mendoza because he stole my sunglasses in 1984 when I took him and John Sykes. So drink, motherfuckers. I took them to when they played at the Chance in Poughkeepsie. I took them to a tanning place to go tan, and I had these.
Wow.
Wow, yeah, what a story, damn.
I got a
Did you
drink.
take
I
him to get their
said his
nails
name.
done too?
That's it. Drink. Thanks, Ryan.
Holy shit!
I
That
had
was right.
I had Oakley Sub-Zero sunglasses in the backseat of my car, and I took Mendoza and Sykes to go tan and Raymond Avenue in Poughkeepsie, and I took them back, and I went looking for my sunglasses, and mysteriously my sunglasses were gone. So I blame Marco Mendoza to this day from 1994 for stealing my Oakley Sub-Zero sunglasses. So
Wow.
I
fuck
was
you,
right.
Marco.
He's in the band, Butch. I was right.
You were okay.
He's in it.
So that-
Yep.
So that's
I was really hoping Butch was going to say he took him for hookers and blow, but sun tanning is the second best.
I dropped them. I took them there. I don't know what happened inside. I waited outside. I don't know what happened.
Suntan.
And then the other
Suntan.
guy that's in the band is Alessandro Del Vecchio. The guy's from Hardline. He does a lot of stuff for Frontiers.
For
Yeah,
Frontiers,
yeah.
absolutely.
He's a part
He's
of
also-
every project that
On
On
Frontier.
everything. He's on
Yeah,
everything
he's-
from
he-
Frontiers.
Right. Yeah, he's also part of it.
So I've talked to Michael Sweet. I know that the writing is all done on that because I've talked to him about that, and just like you have Tommy Aldridge.
Yeah,
So
you
that's-
said Tommy Aldridge, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's quite the combo there. I mean, geez, you
Yeah.
got major star power. So
You know what? I know how you feel about Stryper and Michael Sweet and everything, but I got to tell you, Michael Sweet and George Lynch are the two guys that do not come across any kind of mental block, writing block. Sweet, I don't understand it. I mean, the guy is getting close to 60 years old. How do you write a Stryper record, you write a solo record, you write an album with this whole Nation Change thing. There's like 4 records that he's written this year.
The one with Tracy Guns that just came out.
Exactly.
It's coming out, or it's coming out, which is pretty cool from what I heard.
Michael, I hope you don't see that. He sings his ass off on it. I will say that.
I'm just laughing at Ryan's
Not feeling it
song.
yet.
Huh?
Not
Look at
feeling
his
it yet.
dog. Like,
He's just enjoying the conversation.
The other dog is the liquor. That was the one that kind of just sits back and watches.
it's
They
just,
both lick if they have the mind
just
to it.
sitting there, like, oh, yay. I'm like,
I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but hey,
I'm sorry, Pete. I just wanted to interject because you said Nathan James. I'm sorry.
that's good. No, I didn't hear about that project, so that'll be interesting. Not
Yeah.
surprising because
Should be
Frontier
fun.
does that sort of thing all the time. But
Yep.
yeah. All right, everybody. Well, there you have it. Another edition of the Hudson Valley Squares. We're a little shorter today, but no less a lot of fun. So I want to thank everybody once again for putting together some cool stuff. And Sydney, what do you have going on over on the podcast these days?
literally the same thing I've been saying for the past couple weeks.
Still taking some time off from metal?
Yeah, I took a couple weeks off just because I felt like, I don't know, you sometimes, anybody who's creative or, especially, Pete, I'm sure you get this, it's just sometimes you kind of do a lot at one time and you're like, man, I just need a couple weeks off. So took a couple weeks off to kind of reorganize and regroup myself. But I am back this Friday, pinky promise, with my interview with David Ellison and Jeff Scott Soto, which I think I talked about last week, which I ended up needing to push it back a little bit to this week. So it was a super fun conversation. So that's coming up. I'm finally starting to write some pieces for Brave Words, which are going to be coming out hopefully within like the next, week and a half, 2 weeks. And yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff happening and I'm feeling kind of inspired again. So there's going to be a lot of content coming out.
Good. Very cool. Rich, how about you?
Same thing for Brave Words. I got a couple of reviews I sent in this week. The Metal Asylum Facebook page. We got some interviews coming up, one next week and then one the following week. We're trying to set up like a New Jersey metal history of bands and artists that came out of New Jersey and people that have been in bands, talking about it in the book that, have you heard that Alan Tecchio and Frank White are doing a book on New Jersey metal?
TT Quick.
Yeah.
So
I'm
gonna
best
probably
buddies
talk
with
to
Frank
them
White. I
and-
hear about that book all the fucking time.
okay, so we might have them on and maybe they'll have a couple people on. So we're gonna do one or two of those kind of episodes. And a couple things for Sea of Tranquility too. A couple album rankings coming up, the Grim Reaper and the Bruce Dickinson.
Skunk Works.
Frank knows how to rep his books, doesn't he?
Oh God, me and him are doing all you can eat ribs and wings on Thursday night, and I'm sure it's all I'm going to hear about is the New Jersey metal book. The missus used to come out to eat with us too, but she's like, I can't hear about the books anymore. I can't stand it. I love Frank, but
I'm sure the book will be great, though.
oh, it's just gonna be great.
Where you can get all you can ribs and wings?
I was thinking that.
I was gonna say, should I say it because now everyone's gonna go? But there's a place called Handshakes in Wappingers Falls.
Oh,
And
it's Hope. That's Hopewell.
Hopewell Junction, yeah. Whatever that is. I live here too, but I don't know anything. But
You just know where it is.
They do
All
great
the
wings
Chris
and
Allo fans
ribs.
gonna come out.
And like every Thursday night, it's all you can eat ribs and wings. I haven't been there in 13 months. The last time I was there was with Frank, March of 2020, like right before shit got really weird. But he's got his shots, and I guess I got my COVID cover from being sick a month ago. So we're like, all right, screw it, we're gonna go.
I'll see you Thursday. It's 10 minutes from me. I'll see you
No,
Thursday.
yeah, it's a great spot.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Cool. Excellent. And don't forget to stay tuned. What is today? Monday. So tomorrow we've got In the Prague Seat tomorrow, Tuesday night show that we do each and every week. And then, of course, Mr. Catino and Mr. Allo, along with Jamie Laszlo and Dan Brown, will be back with the Monsters Den on Thursday night. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be talking about some British horror classics and all sorts of stuff happening on the channel. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube.
All
Damn
the
time.
damn time.
Got another show coming up with this crew next Monday and everybody else. We're going to have a full staff next week. So tune in then for Butch and Ryan and Sydney and Rich and Chris. I am Pete Pardo. See you all soon. Bye-bye.